Hi, it's your $2 Tuesday movie critic with more Oscar nominations for 2025. This time I'm going to be looking at Oscar nominations for the best performance by an actor in a leading role. Okay, so the nominations are Adrian Brody for The Brutalist, Timothy Chalamet for A Complete Unknown, Coleman Domingo for Sing Sing, Ralph Fiennes for Conclave, and Sebastian Stan for The Apprentice. Okay, so this was actually a pretty good set of nominations. I got to see all the movies, and I have my opinion, so let me know what you think. Okay, so first we got Adrian Brody for The Brutalist. He plays Laszlo Toth, an architect from a foreign country who comes to America for a better life. His acting for this character never really changes. He shows happiness rarely. He mainly smokes and broods a lot. He shows anger in more of an animated way. He was believable in his acting. It was just a very boring character. Then, at most times, unpredictable, but for the wrong reasons. For instance, Laszlo reacts to getting hired about the same way he reacts to getting fired, except with more tears. It's the characters of his wife and his boss that help add some personality to Laszlo. Honestly, it was like seeing the character of Laszlo was like seeing the character of the guy that owns Cadillac Records, just with an accent. But that's just me. Anyway, so on to the next. Timothy Chalamet, who was the lead character in a Complete Unknown. Of course, he played Bob Dylan. Bob Dylan's voice was a bit more nasally than the way Chalamet portrayed him, but I could see him as a young Bob Dylan. I liked how they showed the evolution of his music. I just never knew Dylan was such a jerk. But then he was a famous musician, so I guess that goes with the territory. His story was pretty run of the mill, except he never apologized for being a jerk, at least in the movie. The music was nice to hear. Now, I'm not the only person that was of this opinion. I talked to other moviegoers because, when we were in some of the movies, we were actually there watching the Oscar movies. So, in between a movie that we seen, we discussed the different movies, and that was one of the movies that we discussed. And I was like, I kind of liked A Complete Unknown, but I did not know Bob Dylan was such a jerk, or he. Do you think that he looked like a jerk in this movie? And everybody I talked to said Bob Dylan was a jerk. And these were people kind of like old enough to know of him, from his stuff from back then. I only knew the older Bob Dylan like from We Are the World. So that's me. All right, let's keep going. So then we have Coleman Domingo in Sing Sing. Coleman Domingo is excellent in this movie. He went through so many ranges of emotions. He plays a man convicted of a crime he didn't commit. Instead of wallowing in self-pity, he co-creates an acting group in Sing Sing as an outlet for himself and others. Of course, other inmates. And then we have Ralph Fiennes in Conclave. He does an outstanding job leading this cast as Dean Lawrence. There was never any doubt from me about his intentions as leader of the conclave. The trick was to see if he would go against his strict beliefs, faith, and morals to steer the outcome of the elections, all in the name of the greater good. So yeah, that is it for me. This was one of the movies that I thought that I was not going to like, but I ended up really enjoying a lot. Okay, then we have Sebastian Stan in The Apprentice. He did almost too good of a job playing Donald Trump. He was actually more disgusting than the real Trump at some points. The most brilliant part of his acting was playing Donald Trump as a young, hungry, yet passive individual, then growing into a ruthless, callous individual that pretended his past didn't exist. So yeah, in these movies, between these five characters, I have to say, there were these were all excellent actors in different roles. Even though I didn't care for some of these movies, like I didn't really care for The Brutalist. But I have to admit the acting of each of these men is flawless. First, I believe Adrian Brody played the same role in Cadillac Records without an accent, as I said before. Timothy Chalamet and Sebastian Stan both played unlikable real people. The characters played by Coleman Domingo and Ralph Fiennes are both layered and strong. So the last two would be my choices, but if I had to choose one, I would choose Coleman Domingo just because his role was a bit more dramatic, but not melodramatic, as opposed to Ralph Fiennes, whose role was very complicated, very it was just a bit less dramatic and more even keeled. Not saying that's not Oscar worthy, because it is, and the movie was great. I really enjoyed it, and his character totally made that movie just as great. So, but yeah, I would choose Coleman Domingo. All right, that's my choices for this one. Let me know what you think at the bottom of the screen, and I hope to see you next time.